Pegando tua apresentação, tu demonstra um desfecho duro, que é a taxa de hospitalização, com um segmento curto, né? 30, no máximo 90 dias. A gente sabe o quão difícil é fazer um estudo desse porte. Mas, assim, a minha pergunta, são 3 perguntas, na verdade. Primeiro, assim, se tem algum dado de maior segmento desses pacientes, porque a gente sabe que, por outros estudos, que quando você faz educação em saúde, o benefício se mantém ao longo de anos, né? Então, se tem alguma coisa que a gente pode mostrar que ao longo do tempo se mantém esse benefício. Além disso, se tem alguma coisa avaliando melhora de qualidade de vida ou de satisfação dos pacientes com esse tipo de abordagem, que também é um desfecho muito importante, mas às vezes na questão de gestão ou de cálculo de custos é subvalorizado. E a outra pergunta, tu falaste já durante a tua apresentação, que muitas vezes pelo trabalho as equipes desistem de implementar essas medidas. Se depois que estão implementadas as equipes se sentem mais satisfeitas com o que elas estão fazendo?
Thank you. Those are all very interesting questions. I'll take them one at a time. Regarding the longer period of follow-up, the study with the care transitions intervention actually followed patients up to 180 days. That kind of intervention, which involved coaching patients, would like to see a long-term effect. Where you might think once the patient learns how to better navigate the healthcare system, they would be able to continue doing that, like learning a sport. What they found out actually is that by 180 days, the intervention was still a little effective in reducing readmission through 180 days, but it was no longer statistically significant. This is what happens is when they focus on elderly patients like this who have a lot of medical problems, new problems come up eventually. So in the United States, the focus has been on the first 30 days of hospital discharge because it's thought that during that period of time, it's more reflective of the quality of care provided in the hospital. And if you go much longer than that, other factors start to come into play. Either the patient develops new problems, or if they get readmitted, it might not be a reflection of the hospital care, but it might be a reflection of the subsequent clinic care. So we've really started focusing almost exclusively on a 30-day period, but not everybody agrees with that. And your point's a good one. It's in the kinds of interventions that involve teaching patients and coaching patients that we would expect to see the longest term benefit. The second question was about whether we're looking at other outcomes, such as satisfaction, quality of life. Absolutely we are. But as you mentioned, in the cost equation, those aren't considered to be as important. And when these large studies are being submitted for funding, and it costs about $2 million to do a study like each of the examples I gave you. Each of those had about $2 million of support. If the grant agency, like the National Institutes of Health or the foundation that's supporting the work, is going to spend that much money, they really require a focus on the hard outcomes. But what we try to do is slip in some of the other outcomes too. So in some of my work, we're actually looking at quality of life. We're looking at satisfaction, but we haven't analyzed those results yet. But not every study does that. You know, in the Project Red, they looked at how prepared patients felt to be sent home, and there was an improvement. But I think not enough people are looking at the satisfaction and quality of life outcomes because the focus has just become so narrow on hospital readmission, it's almost been harmful to the exclusion of these other things. And can you remind me what your third question was?
Satisfação da equipe, pelas dificuldades e a satisfação da equipe.
The question about whether the healthcare personnel feel more satisfied? I have not seen that formally studied, but I've talked to a lot of people who've done this kind of work. And in the hospitals that have been able to continue it, and who have a good team of people, they stay very excited about this. And they remain very engaged and satisfied with the work that they're doing. But it's part of the culture of that hospital, and the culture of that community. If the hospital did not have the kind of culture to begin with, to be willing to put in the amount of effort to do a big program like this, then those are the hospitals that try it for a little while. They might do a little bit, but then it eventually dies. And in those kinds of places, no, the staff don't feel very satisfied with what they've accomplished because they have not been able to sustain it. So then the question is, what comes first? Is it the culture of the institution, or is it the success of maintaining the intervention? And I don't know. It's like the chicken or the egg. We don't know which comes first.